Hey out there! Today's topic is removing toxicity from your life. So I know you all have something in your life that you feel ready to let go of, that you know brings you down, weighs you down, affects and impacts negatively your ability to find happiness and fulfillment. So let's talk about 5 ways to reduce toxicity in your life, starting with stress. Who doesn't have stress? We all do. Positive stress, negative stress. Our lives are consumed by stress quite often. So the first thing I want you to do is to take an assessment of all the stressful aspects of your life. Wherever you feel most stressed or most affected by stress in your life, write it down and identify a few strategies you can use to bring peace to that area of your life. Whether it be mindfulness-based, like deep breathing or guided meditation or imagery or relaxation of some other type, find ways to eliminate stress, whether it be through relaxation or through something like problem solving in that area. And go ahead and experiment with different strategies to eliminate and reduce stress. There's some stresses we do have control over, and there's some that we don't. So start with the ones you have control over. And the intention behind managing your stress is to empty your glass. Your glass can get full very quickly if we don't take care of ourselves. So try to think of one thing every day you can do to create space in your glass or to empty your glass completely. Number 2 is an unsatisfying career. So this has been one of the themes that I've been working on with patients lately, where they find themselves really unsatisfied doing their job. And since we spend so many hours of every day and every week for those of us who work in the workplace, it's really important that we leave our employment feeling fulfilled and satisfied, that we love what we do, ideally that we're still passionate about it. So the second toxic aspect of your life I want you to evaluate is your job, is your employment. Are you happy there? Is this what you were meant to do? Does this actually reflect your strengths, your talents, your natural way of enjoying and feeling fulfilled in this life? If not, start thinking about some alternatives. Is there anything you can do to tweak this current job situation that might make it more fulfilling or satisfying? That might make the stress or the toxicity of it disappear. If you could just what? Change your team, change your boss, change your duties, change the environment. What would you change if you could? Write those things down. If you're able to tweak the system within your current position, fantastic. Go ahead and think of 1 or 2 things you can do in the next week and execute. If not, you might want to consider alternatives. Are you in a position in your life that you can maybe make a job change in the name of life satisfaction and reducing toxicity? Number 3 is stopping the comparison trap. It is so hard these days, especially with social media at our fingertips, to stop comparing ourselves to everyone and anyone around us. We used to just have exposure to people in our smaller circles, our family and our friends and our coworkers. Now we see people all over the world doing all incredible things, and we start to compare ourselves. Am I as attractive as that person? Am I as wealthy as that person? Am I as successful or smart as that person? And we set ourselves up to fail. We set ourselves up to feel less than, not good enough, insecure. So number 3 in toxicity challenge here is removing the comparison trap. Can you reduce any of the triggers in your life that encourage you to compare? And yes, social media is going to be high up on that list. Can you really restrict the time that you are scrolling through other people's lives and increase instead the time that you're fully present and invested in your own? 4 is unhealthy relationships. So one of the easiest areas for us to identify that brings us toxicity in our lives are our relationships. We have a lot of them. We have friendships, we have familial relationships, we have co-working relationships, we have romantic relationships. I want you to take a few minutes to just identify the relationships in your life that bring you happiness and health, and the relationships in your life that feel more harmful or toxic or chaotic or negative. I want you to give yourself permission to adjust or modify or relieve yourself of some of those relationships. If there are some that are really weighing you down and really getting in your way of experiencing happiness in your daily life, consider addressing it with that person and or consider eliminating them from your life. It is always an option, even though sometimes we feel like it's too selfish to do so or we feel too guilty about it. I want you to try to give yourself permission to consider the option. Fifth is clutter. So I've talked about clutter before in other live events, and clutter can mean so many things to different people, but the idea behind it is anything that really just feels suffocating in your life, whether you walk into a room and you know that there's stuff on every surface and it just adds to your stress or feeling overwhelmed, get rid of it. Figure out an organizational system. Whether it's clutter in your head and you really feel weighed down by the negative thoughts that just keep spinning and cycling through, then talk with a coach or a therapist. Learn some tools to eliminate that. Learn some tools to stop the negative cycling. So I hope that these top 5 toxicity aspects of our lives resonate with you in some way, or really I'd rather that they don't. But if they do, if any of the 5 do, please take an assessment of which areas of your life you can modify, which ones you might be able to improve in order to release toxicity and increase happiness, stability, peace, and happiness. I hope you're all having a great day, and I will talk to you next time.